couple points for this update, July 6, 2009. Some Wimbledon thoughts. Was it me or was it like cricket? I mean, it just went on and on and on. And I was cheering for Andy the whole time, and it was really sad because Roger is God. Because who would think that Roger would serve more aces than Andy? And Roger was serving like lights out at the end. I think the percentages were like, if you guys first serve in, he won like 85%. If you guys second serve in, he was winning like 75%. If Andy got his first serve in, he won like 80%, and his first serve percentage was like 50, and Roger was like 75. And there's an interesting stat on like one of the sets. If Andy got the second serve in, he won 25% of the points. I mean, once the rally started, you kind of knew Roger had the advantage, but Andy played a hell of a match. But that's the key to devising your own game plan. I'm going to put up a video of my friend who pretty much smoked me, CJ, and you'll see that the parallels are very simple. You have to do what you do best against your opponent's weakness. If the person is better than you are in one aspect of the game, and my friend is very good at ground strokes, so that makes it very difficult for me to beat him. In order for me to beat him, I have to change the game. I have to make the game about a serve and a first volley. I have to make a game about a return and a gimmick. I have to go short shots, bring him to net, or chip and charge and come to net, and I compress the game. There's no typical rallies. And you need to think about if that's what you do against your opponents. Like, if they're really good on baseline, do you have to mountain ball them and push them back, or drop shot them and bring them in and get them out of their comfort zones? The last thing about that is you have to do something that you can do. Because there are some things that, like, people say, oh, you should do this, do this, do this, and you're like, but that's not my game. So there's a fine line where you have to decide what's part of your game and what you can do and try to beat people. And sadly, there are people that play it just like you, or their games interlock with you. Like my friend CJ, his game interlocks with me. Because I have a good serve and volley game, but he has a good return. I baseline. Second thing is I like to baseline and I push balls deep, getting a short ball, but he has great ground strokes. He doesn't have a short ball. Third thing is I serve and volley. He's a great digger and retriever and passer. You know, so that's where the games interlock. Other people are like my friend Pete. I tend to do very well against him because he's more of a rallier who doesn't really hurt me off the baseline, and I can start to really enforce my game on him, and I start to move him and really hit shots off the ground, and then I can force the issue. Okay, so you need to refocus your game and force the issue. Video analysis is very helpful in that because you can see it, and if you really want to get to the next level, you can chart it. And we never really talked about charting. I don't know if people want to know about charting, but charting is when you start jotting down winners and errors, and I have a very simple system for that. I think we should talk about charting later. Lastly, there was a question about rackets. One of my friends on YouTube asked, does hitting wear down my racket? Does graphite wear out? And honestly, yes, it does wear out. But what wears out your racket most of all is weather, heat. Being in your car, in the back seat, the windows closed, heats up the car, heats up the frame. You know, every time you heat up the frame, it expands and compresses. But the racket is normally a composite, so it's made out of different things. So the different things heat up at different rates, and so that causes like minor damage to your racket. Restringing your racket causes major damage to your racket because you take a frame and then you're compressing it, tightening it, and then when you pop it, it loosens up like unevenly. So when you have your frame and you have to pop the strings, you cut middle and go diagonal to the edges. That way it loosens the frame up evenly. And to be honest, I'm lazy. I'll cut right down the middle with my mains, and I'll cut right across, for the crosses. And what happens is you're breaking the frame up incrementally, and you're causing a lot of damage to your frame. Third thing that causes damage to your frame is not only the string, but the types of strings you use. I play with polyester, and for some reason polyester causes my frame to break. I think it's because it puts a lot more stress on my frame. So when the string bit hits the ball, it puts more stress on the racket itself. And I think it's the rigidness of the polyester. The frame absorbs most of the impact and causes a lot of damage. So in summary, I gave you my thoughts on Wimbledon, and a great match by Roger. You gotta give him props. He won French. If it wasn't for Nadal, he won a lot more tournaments. Second thing, game planning and being specific about your game plan and realistic And thirdly, damaging your frame. We do have a podcast now if you want to download the video. We are on iTunes. You do have to go to iTunes Advanced and go to subscribe to podcast. And it's www.feeds2.feedburner.com/textbook tennis, and it's also on our we'll post that on this video also. Thanks again for July 9, 2009.